Still trying to figure out the snap thing on my new computer. It does all kinds of crazy stuff that all of a sudden it's just like doing what it does. Trying to get my screens arranged, sorry. I was buried in bras this morning. 'Tis the season though, bras and socks and underwear, like new underwear, not used underwear, because you can't sell that on eBay. What am I doing? Oh, I know what I'm doing. Pulling up comments here. Hang on. Ashley said that's a category I want to get into, bras. I was thinking about doing a deep dive on the intimates section, but bras are pretty lucrative and they're cheap because nobody goes to the bra section in like resellers very rarely go to the bra section in the thrift store, so you can find some really good stuff over there, especially for the bigger sizes. And for the guys, if you don't know, bras are really expensive to buy new, and so you can sell them on eBay. You can't sell underwear, but you can sell bras and used, and you can get usually about half the price of retail. So they're like 40, 50 bucks. You can get, $20, $25 for a bra, especially those bigger sizes. I have never gotten a return from a bra. Somebody, Melissa asked, do you get a lot of returns with bras? I'm a bigger size. I hate bra shopping. Most people, I think, know their brands though. Like, you need to put the brands in there and you need to put the style code in there. But I've never gotten a return for a bra. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on bras. I've been selling a lot of socks too lately. It's Christmas season, so like if you see any socks out there in the wild, those are also really good sellers. People throw them into stockings. I mean, they're not a big seller. Like, you're not going to get rich on socks unless you have a huge store of them. But $3 or $4 return. They're nice. They flip pretty quickly. So Tech has said that he sells a lot of socks too.
Just
but men's and women.
Only new socks. Only new socks, just to be clear.
New socks, don't sell used socks. That's against policy. You can sell used bras, no used underwear, no used socks, because people have weird fetishes.
Yeah, used socks is an instant takedown policy violation.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see. Quick question. I'm sure you've answered before. This is from Janine. But when you have more than one closure type, like zipper and button or hook, what do you put the closure in the item specifics? Are you talking about pants, Janine? Like if it's pants and it's like a button and zipper pants, then it's
like pants or shirts, that have like a button, a zipper, or a hook eye on top of a zipper. I just was like, I don't know what closure to put those under.
For pants? Is that what you said?
Yeah, pants or skirts, some.
Okay. Yeah, I just put zipper.
Just put the one that's the biggest.
If it's for closure, it's like they're asking if it's a button fly or not. That's
Okay,
what the
gotcha.
button is.
Okay,
So if
thanks.
it's button fly, then you put button. If it's zipper, then put zipper.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. And then hook and eye, same thing with skirts that have like a hook and eye and then a zipper on it. It's a zipper. That hook and eye, the hook and eye is like if it was all hook and eye, like a series of them. Let's see, I had one return with bras. She forgot to send it back. She wore it all 60 days and said it ripped. Oh, good Lord. That's so gross. What about vintage slips? Yes, you can sell vintage slips. You can also sell vintage and new and used pajamas. They're not considered underwear. I sell a lot of Victoria's Secret slips and lingerie type stuff.
I sell a lot of like
Michelle?
pajama pants for like Abercrombie, Polo, sports teams. Those do well.
Well, in women's wear, women prefer to wear bottoms and tops. So if you find a top out in the wild, like a pajama top that used to be like 2 pieces, those are going to sell a lot slower than if you find the bottoms. People like to wear the bottoms because they'll just wander around in them. So, but the tops are a lot slower seller. Ashley, did you have a question?
Yeah, for ankle jeans, right? What style do you put in the item specifics?
For ankle jeans?
Yeah, I have a pair of Old Navy Sweetheart jeans.
Oh, the Old Navy ones. I put them as either like tapered or skinny, depending on what they are, or slim.
Okay, that's what I figured. Thank you.
They're not really cropped because they're
not.
like
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So. All right, we're gonna do a deep dive on sweaters. And I asked, well, I tagged Thomas in there. I'm hoping he shows up because he is like an expert in knits, which is weird to me, but he is. And he gave us a deep dive the other day with all different kinds of wool and stuff like that. It was really interesting. So I was hoping he'd come. Hopefully he has time to come in today and visit with us about it.
He grew up on a sheep farm.
Yeah, like he has this insane knowledge about like who knew? It's so weird. We all have like weird knowledge that you don't know is useful until like you can be useful with it. Okay, what am I going to share? I want to share this one. This is my sweater template. And like I said, I'm buried in bras, so I don't have a sweater list. But we shall carry on anyway, because I want to go over how to list the item specifics and is the most important part, I think, with the sweater. So let's go over, we'll make up one. So let's say, oh gosh, give me a brand. We'll do Ann Taylor because I always default to her. Ann Taylor, women's pullover sweater, large blue, V-neck, cashmere, lightweight. Can everybody see my screen? Anyone say yes? Okay, thanks, Jenny. Custom label is where I put my SKU and the date that it was listed, but this is a pretend one, so I'm not going to do it. It's pre-owned. On cashmere and wool sweaters, you're going to want to make sure that you don't have any holes in it. So check it over carefully, especially with cashmere. And you can save them. Save up a pile of cashmere, and you can sell it by the pound on eBay. If you look up cashmere cutter, crafters use it all the time. So don't throw that stuff away unless you want to. It's kind of a pain to have to save up enough. So condition description, I always keep this the same for almost everything. I generally don't sell things with flaws. Yeah, Ashley, you can sell cashmere. Is people use that to make blankets and stuff out of, and like baby clothes and things. I think they boil it and then are able to you can sew it and make like cashmere quilts and things like that. So you can sell it by the pound. If you gather up similar colors of cashmere, people really like that. Okay, she's a regular size. So my goal when I write my title is to try to get all the required in there, other than the size type, unless it's plus size. So I'll put plus in the title, but I try to get all these requireds in the title as well, so it's already no, it's not the same for merino wool. It's just pretty much just cashmere that you can get cutter lots out of. You might be able to get less if you had just like regular wool. I don't want to have that much savings into stuff, but okay. So I try to get as much into the required item specifics. Obviously brand is easy, size type regular, plus petite's tall. Tall is now in most categories for women's wear. So make sure if you've got something that says like tall on it, or if it says medium tall, MT, that you're picking that tall category size type. And then all of these sizes, like if I switch over to tall, all my sizes are going to switch over into like large tall, medium tall, small tall. So make sure you're doing that. This one's a regular. Oh, we are long sleeve, we're V-neck. We're going to say that it's cashmere and 100% cashmere, just in case somebody narrows it down by one or the other. Classic and modern are two themes that I pick off on all of my listings, pretty much, because everything can be classic and everything can be modern. We're going to say it's solid. Let's see, we'll go through these. I think we've gone over most of these. I mean, this is just off the tag. So this is off your choice. This is your choice. Features. I pick off on features, whatever works. You don't want to like, so on all of my templates, I have stretch because all sweaters pretty much stretch. If it's a quarter zip or a half zip, I'll put that in there. Adjustable doesn't really count for sweaters. All seasons, sometimes I'll put for sweaters if it's a really lightweight one and can be layered. And a lot of cardigans. Cardigans sell really, really well in the summertime just because women that work in offices will freeze to death sitting at a desk. And so they'll grab a cardigan sweater. I saw a ton of them this summertime. Belted, if the belt is included. Breathable doesn't really count. Buckle if it has a buckle on it. Collarless, I don't think people narrow it down by that. Full zip, that makes sense to most people. Graphic print, if it has a print on it. And that is, I don't think that really counts. That would be more for like t-shirts and such. Heavyweight, self-explanatory. Hooded is self-explanatory. Insulated wouldn't count. That would be for more like jackets. Lightweight, quite often. Cashmere is generally lightweight. Lined might be an option in there. Moisture wicking would be for athletic wear, so that wouldn't count for sweaters. Sometimes if it's an open cardigan, I'll put open there. Oversized. I've seen a lot of gentlemen in the group that get really confused by the measurements, especially in sweaters, because a lot of the style right now is oversized and cozy. So, and those are really good keywords for sweaters, oversized and cozy. So, and you know, it's like, how can this be a size small if it's, you know, 50 inches around? And it's because women, and especially younger women, will wear them. They'll be slouchy, they'll come off the shoulder. They want something that they can just kind of wrap themselves in. So that oversized style is really, really popular right now. So don't freak out if you see something that is sized and it looks like it's sized incorrectly because it's huge. It's normal. So Tommy says, I listed a sweater poncho from Columbia earlier today and used open, but I'm not sure if it was a good call. It should be okay. If it's a was it like open on the sides? Pockets. Yeah, that should be fine then. He said yes. Pockets, women like pockets, so that's also a good feature to click off if you've got them. Reversible, sometimes you'll get a reversible sweater, not very often. Stretch, I always have clicked off. And then the rest of them are more athletic wear. So I don't put anything for character or character family unless there's something on it that is character wise. I don't sell vintage, so I always have that clicked as no. Okay, necklines.
Can I ask a question on the character portion?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's just say there is a character on there, but it is not in like the pre-populated one that you can just click on.
Right.
Do you just type it in there?
You can.
What would you use?
I would leave it probably blank.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't think people are gonna. I would put it in the title and leave the item specifics alone. After like going back and forth, trying to figure out what they want. If it's not a drop-down menu, just make sure you put it in the title so it's searchable.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. I think that's probably the easiest advice we can give you. I just think when we start typing things into those item specifics, we're going to run into trouble. Because everything goes to unspecified and it screws up. Yeah, it just screws everything up. Okay, so I put in the title that it was a V-neck, so it auto-populated as a V-neck. Boat neck. Boat neck. I'm going to go over these every single time just because not everyone watches every week. So if you've heard my explanation of necklines before, I'm sorry. We're going to do it again. So boat neck means that it looks like a boat and it cuts across right here. It can be pointed on the shoulders or it can be rounded on the shoulders, but it is cut across here and it's a little bit wider at the shoulders than it is at the neckline. It's going to come up higher at the neckline like a crew neck, but also come out on the shoulders. Collared means it has a collar on it. So it'd be like a polo style sweater or a, you know, some kind of collar on it. Sometimes if I can't find anything like it's open neck cardigan sweater, but it has a collar on it, sometimes I'll put collared in there just to have something to fill in. A cowl neck is either just draped in the front, so it has like, it drapes down like this, or it's a big giant turtleneck that hangs down. A crew neck is going to come up above the collarbone, and they don't do that very often in women's wear. Crew neck is not a very popular style in women's, but it's very popular in men's. So most of the time women's is a round neck. So high neck is not exactly a turtleneck, not exactly a crew neck. It might be banded. Mock neck is turtleneck height. So it comes up, but it doesn't fold down. It doesn't roll over like a turtleneck. That's what a mock neck is. Round neck comes below the collarbone, but not to cleavage section. So it's like the in between would be a round neck. A scoop neck shows off the ladies. So scoop neck is down below and will may show some cleavage there. Square neck is squared off. Looks like a square. Turtleneck is exact. Turtleneck can be a big round turtleneck. It can be a turtleneck that is tight to your neckline, but it comes up and then folds down. And then your V-neck is your classic V-neck. Most of your stuff is going to be a turtleneck, V-neck, or a round neck, honestly, in sweaters and tops. Sleeve length. You've got sleeveless, short sleeve, 3/4 sleeve. 3/4 sleeve is between the elbow and the wrist. So that's the only one that I think people have a harder time with. Patterns. Let's see, there's not a whole lot of different patterns in sweaters. Let's go through them really quick. So you've got your animal prints. You quite often get like a cheetah print or a leopard print with sweaters. And so those are animal prints. Not like, let's see. Hang on. Oh, Tech is putting the resource page for the files. I like to go over it too, though, Tech, because I think some people do better with like having a visual or having it spoken than trying to go through the files. So I'm trying to go over them as we go through these things too. I'm hoping that some stuff sinks in as we talk about it more and more. Paul says, I used to think cowl neck was cow neck. Don't imagine many women use cow as a keyword now. That's generally not a keyword that we would appreciate. Yes, of course, it's just a bonus for, yes, it is a bonus. We have a huge file of terms in the file section. And there's a whole bunch of fashion terms. So if you get hung up on something, go to the fashion terms first in the file section. And then if you can't find it there, then you can ask your question. You can tag me in it and I will try to answer it. Argyle and diamond. Diamond shapes and argyle is Argyle is a diamond shape. So if you have a pattern of a diamond shape in a sweater, then you're going to have it. Camouflage. I've sold a lot of camouflage sweaters. Camo, it looks like camo. It looks like military camo. A check is, I think they have plaid too. Check is like a window pane check, or a gingham check, which is just squares. A little bit different than plaid. It's just the squares without the overlapping squares. Fair Isle. Let me see if I can pull up a Fair Isle. Is your typical, it's a typical winter. I'm back for a minute. I'm going to share this other screen here. Whoops. I don't want that one. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, here we go. This is Fair Isle. It's your typical winter sweater. See if we can bring one of these up. So that's Fair Isle. There's a J. Crew Fair Isle. It's got the the little snowflakes in it. And the pattern is more of that like typical winter pattern that you see over and over again in sweaters. That's a Fair Isle pattern. And I'm going to go back to sharing this guy. Okay. Floral pattern is flowers. Geometric would be anything. I use geometric a lot. Anytime that I can't figure out like kind of what that pattern is, I'll use, like, if it's a geometric-ish, if it's got circles and squares on it, I'll use a geometric pattern. Herringbone. See if we can find a herringbone sweater.
And in the Facebook group, the document actually has the pattern on there. So it's really, really helpful for anyone else that's wondering.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a chevron. I'm not finding a good version of the herringbone. Oh, that one's not too bad. Herringbone is almost like chevron, but it's not a V. So let's go. Let's go over here. Okay, so this is, well, let's look at this one. I can't get it to come up. I just want to look at the pattern. Okay, so it looks like this is what herringbone looks like. It's almost like a chevron, which is like a series. Chevron is like a series of V's, but these are like a herringbone is a series of V's, but they don't line up. So they're like upside down V's that don't line up together. So like one side of it is higher than the other side. So That's what herringbone is. Back. And whoops. Okay. Paisley. Does everybody know what paisley is? Does anybody have any questions about that? Do I need to look it up for you? Let me know in the chat if you want, or just shout it out. I don't care. Paisley, plaid. Plaid is like overlapping. It's a little different than checked. So there's a difference between checked and plaid. Check is, remember, just squares, and then plaid is like overlapping squares. Polka dot is just dots. Doesn't count if it's like an all over, it's got all over labradoodles on it. That's not polka dot. If it's got all over flower print that are, you know, that's not polka dot. Polka dots are polka dots. If you've got something like that, then I would leave it blank. Like if you have something that has flowers all over it, I'd put floral. But if you have something that has some kind of weird graphic on it, I would just leave this section of pattern blank. And then there's solid and striped, and we all know what those are. So if in doubt, leave it blank. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything to leave this stuff blank. Accents, beaded, has beads on it. Bows have bows on it. And that's real bows. That's not just tied. It means it actually has a real bow. Kate Spade is very famous for her bows. So if you have a Kate Spade sweater, it's going to have a bow on it 9 times out of 10. Buttons are details. If it's got an accent, if it's got accent buttons, but I also use buttons if it's like if it's got a couple of buttons somewhere else too. Like if it's part of the closure, if it's got a Henley button, just to have something to fill in here. Crochet, I usually use this for like crocheted lace. Sometimes you'll see on the neckline of something, it'll have crocheted lace. Sometimes there's like a crocheted lace overlay on something. Embroidered means that it's sewn, a sewn pattern, and those will be like flowers or some kind of graphic design that are actually sewn on top of the knit sweater fabric. Fringe is fringe, basically. It's got like a fringe bottom, will have like yarn hanging from the bottom. It doesn't mean it's cut and frayed. That's a little bit different. Fringe is actual strings hanging down, or like if you have like a bohemian style vest or something like that, you'll see fringe on those. Those are like, you know, leather or things like that. But in sweaters, fringe is like where there's purposefully by the designer hanging threads coming down off the bottom or around the neckline. Fur trim can be faux fur or real fur, but generally real fur. Sometimes those are, you can take those off. Here's a tip. Like if you get a sweater that used to have like, I've gotten sweaters before that have like a series of buttons around the neck. And that means at one time it probably had fur trim on it. You can just trim those buttons off and sell it. So it means that the trim was removable, because usually those fur trims can't be washed, but the sweater can. And so when the person donated it, they didn't donate the fur trim, and we'll just cut those buttons off and call it good. Glitter is sparkly, but like tiny sparkles that get all over your floor and are really annoying. Anything with glitter on it is horrible and gross. Hate it. Jeweled means that it's a little bit bigger than like a rhinestone. Jewels will be like, and obviously they're fake jewels, but they look like, you know, they're shaped as a jewel, like rubies and different stones that are usually beaded on there in some way. Logos I use for like, if there's a logo of Under Armour or Columbia or something like that, I'll put logo in there as one of the accents. Pleated isn't going to be in sweaters. Quilted isn't going to be in sweaters. Rhinestones are like those little clear or diamond looking sparklies that you see on sweaters, sometimes sewn on. Ruffles, you won't see very much in sweaters. Sequins are like those flat little metallic beads that are sewn on. They're not really beads. They're just like flat little discs. They look like teeny tiny little plates. And they're either metal or plastic. And those are sequins. And a lot of times they will be sparkly or iridescent in some way. Straps, yeah, I mean, that's pretty open. Studded is where it's not a bead, so you don't see it, you don't see any sewing on it, but it's not sparkly either, like a rhinestone, so it's actually pounded in there, but it's like a metallic. Studded is like attached to the fabric, either glued on or pounded into the fabric, where it's metallic and not sparkly. Tassels are kind of the same as a fringe. And then sometimes you'll have like a zipper at the shoulder or a zipper down. Sometimes I'll put zipper on there if it's a zipper closure. For my, I don't know where that circle came from. So I don't know how to get rid of it. So hang on. For my item description, all of my item description templates have this in it. So in what I put in my item descriptions, I say, the first thing I say is something about the fabric. So this is a cashmere sweater, so I'll put lightweight cashmere fabric or knit. And then anything else that I couldn't fit in the title but may have put in the item descriptions. So I'll say, I don't know what I put in the title, but long sleeve, V-neck, pullover. And then the rest of it I leave alone. Okay, so then I have down here, I have whether or not there's stretch or flex in the fabric other than elastic elements. And then obviously sweaters have flex in them, so I just erase the no. So it says yes. And then this is a link to the rest of my store. This is my combined shipping. My condition, I'll say the same thing, well cared for, nice condition, no flaws noted, unless there's some kind of flaw in there, and then I'll type that in there. Elastic elements would be like elastic waistline, Beth. So like if there's an elastic waist or if there's elastic cuffs or things like that. I don't unstretch elastic to measure it. I didn't do that either. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. And then price it. I'm not doodling, Beth. I don't know. Somebody else is doing that. I don't know who's doing that. Someone's playing with me. I don't like it.
Sorry, that was me. I was taking screenshots and I didn't realize it shares to everyone else. Sorry.
Okay. What is that? Okay. So then I put buy it now price. I do automatically accept offers. And what? People are laughing at me now. Okay. So I automatically accept offers at like usually like 40%. It depends on what it is. So like if it's 19, if I price it at $19.99, then I'll accept offers of at least $12.99. If they offer lower than, I don't put automatic decline down there, but if they offer lower than the $12.99, then it just shoots it to me and I can accept it. I think there was some discussion about like automatic accepting of offers. So like you can accept an offer automatically, but if somebody offers lower than that, then it just shoots it over to you normally and says that they've made an offer, and you can accept or decline it. So like if I have it at $19.99 and then I have it automatically accepted at $12.99, if they offer me $10 for it, it's going to shoot that offer to me and I can accept it or decline it from there. I just don't want to get every single offer. And I don't do auto decline because I want to counter offer everybody. So even the low ballers, I will counter offer. I don't decline anything. And then I have my business policy set up and there we go. Make sense? Any
Michelle, how
questions?
do you create? Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask how you create a link to your store to add to your listing.
You can go online and Google it. That's what I did.
Okay.
It's an HTML code. And so what you do when you're doing your listing, they've got the regular page where you're doing your listing. Here, let me screen share that really quick. Let's go back here. So, okay, so you've got your standard listing right here, and then you've got HTML. So there's a code in there that I use. Let's see, where is it? No flaws noted, that you can just insert. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's right here is that code. But you can look it up online. Just Google it.
Okay.
And that'll tell you. And then once you get it, and that creates a just say create a hyperlink for eBay listing or something along those lines, and you should be able to pull it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can do a hyperlink back to your store. You can put just your store link in there, but I like a hyperlink better. I think it looks better. And it gives like, it makes it look kind of pro in there. Beth says she created hyperlinks yesterday. I think it looks fancy. All right.
Yeah, I have mine hyperlinked to the coupon section with all the offers because I swap daily offers out with different rates.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you can have multiple. Oh, Beth shared the code in the thing in the chat. So You can just copy and paste it from there. But you can do multiple hyperlinks in your listings as long as it has to refer back. They can tell, so don't take it off of eBay because that's against eBay policy. So you want to make sure that it always goes back into your eBay store. So, or back onto eBay. If you have multiple stores, and I verified this with eBay, you can hyperlink to your other store if you want to. So yeah. Or you can hyperlink to somewhere else on eBay or to a coupon or something like that. You just can't take it off of eBay. Do not hyperlink to a website off of eBay, or else your listing can get pulled and you can get a big ol' dinghy from eBay.
I have a, yeah, I have a customer who asked me for more. She was watching a pair of sandal in my store, and then she asked me if I had more sandals. I told her yes, but I didn't know how to like give her a link to all the sandals that are her size in my store.
With the new store, the new way that they're doing the stores, the eBay categories aren't working right. But you can go to your store and pull up all your sandals and see if, are you using store categories or are you using eBay categories to?
eBay categories.
Yeah, my eBay categories are not working right
You
now.
can do it using the item for sale thing. So if you like, Michelle, if you go to your, can you share your screen for a second?
Which screen?
Like the screen that shows you your eBay store. Like go to your items for sale page. Like when you click your name and it says like on your banner where it clicks like your items for sale.
Okay, hang on.
All right. So are you?
This is my main store. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it should be a button on there that says, are you on your, can you click into that? Okay, yeah, it says your screen looks a little bit different than mine. That's all it is. So go right there where it says search all 2,647 items. My screen looks a little bit different than yours, but in that bar, you type in women's size 8 sandals. You don't have any sandals in your store, so maybe something specific in your store, like women's size 4 pants or something.
We'll do sweaters since we're doing medium sweaters.
Sure, that works.
Okay. Oh, that's a good way to do it. Okay, so if you go to your store, you can search your store and then just send them this link right up here.
Yep.
And so I'll add to that,
okay.
which is I take the URL, which is at the top, and then I have that buried into a Excel spreadsheet where you can type in the keywords and it'll create the URL. So then the people that are doing the customer support can just copy and paste it without ever going into that section, actually creating it. So you don't have to do it, but just want to share that.
So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you guys.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, the new store setup doesn't use eBay categories correctly. I don't like it. It doesn't sort it by eBay categories like it used to have the left-hand sorting by size. You actually have to run a search on it, so to get it to go there.
The thing about that though, since she's talking about shoes specifically, there is a thing that you can run into. it's gonna pull up everything that has, like, let's say you're looking for a size 8. It's gonna pull up everything that has
Oh, that the
8
number
in it.
8 in it, right?
Yeah. So it's not. It's so
Ah.
if you have a Nike Pegasus 8 or something in there, that's gonna pop up too. So just make sure you let the buyer know that, so that before they buy it, like before they buy an item, make sure they are.
They make
they're
sure that
successful
it's,
in the document.
yeah.
Because it's gonna pull
Okay, thank you.
everything that has 8 in it. So
Yes. Yeah.
Or
Thank
what
you.
can do, because I do, as Isaiah said, pretty often, like if someone buys a Harley shirt and they go, oh, I love this shirt, I always link them back to all the Harley shirts I have in that size. But what you could do is you do like a generic search inside your store and just search shoes, and then you go on left hand navigation and click size 8, and that'll for sure send all shoes size 8.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's even a better way to do it. Thank
Because
you.
for men's shirts, if someone wears a size extra large and I link them to, no, if someone wears a large and I link them to all Harley shirts large, it's going to bring up both large and extra large. So I would just search Harley shirt in the store, left hand navigation XL, and then that way they only get the XLs and not the larges too.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed because I just switched over to eBay categories from store categories to save myself time, and then they took it off of the left-hand navigation. Beth, no, I'm not going to go back to store categories. I changed mine a couple of months ago, and I'm hoping that they fix it. If enough of us complain, maybe they'll fix it. I'm looking at the chat or the posts that I did earlier to let's see. I just want to check and make sure I got everything on there.
Hey, Michelle, real quick question on the sweaters.
Yeah, Jeff.
If you know a certain type of fabric, the sweaters will shrink. So if it shrinks and you notice that visually, do you change the fitting from like a regular fit to like an athletic fit or something like that? And then do you just note it, or do you just or leave it? Like what's the approach you take on that? If you want to cross that.
I would treat it like a flaw.
Like a flaw? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I would treat it like a flaw and just say, looks like it might have shrunk a little bit. Check the measurements, measures like a small listed,
Okay.
whatever, I might put like if it's shrunk, but still in good shape, like it looks nice and isn't like, if it's shrunk and is misshapen, then I won't list it at all. If it's listed as a large or like tagged as a large and has obviously shrunk in the wash, but still it's not misshapen, you can either cut the tags out and list it as a small with measurements, or you can list it like a flaw.
And when you list it as a flaw, then if it's, for example, it went from a large to a small, just then in the actual item specific, you would put small, or you put large and then put a flaw in there and say it's a small.
I would put it as, if it's significant, I would put it like a small.
Small, right?
I would
Okay.
list it as a small in the title, and then maybe put flaw in the title, and then list it and then describe it in the item description and the condition description box.
Okay. I think you confirmed something, which is I won't list those. It's just, yeah. Okay.
I just don't.
Thank you.
I avoid it. Or like Tex said, if it's significant, he cuts the tag out and just list it as the size measured. So like, I find it much easier and easier to sell stuff if I say, okay, this is a small, this is obviously a small, not a large. I'll just cut the tag out and call it good.
So if you have no, you go ahead, Jeff, if you're not done. I'm sorry.
And on the hoodies, I know we were talking about sweaters, but on the hoodie, sometimes you have the V section where the neckline is, and Is it like the button up shirts where if it's female, this is an observation, but if it's a female, then it would be from the flap side would be from the right to going left, and then if it's for men or boys, then it would be the other way.
Generally speaking, yes.
Generally speaking, okay.
Yes.
And then also another one is sometimes I still struggle with like the kid size, the adult size. So I've just been listing everything as if I think it's small. I mean, sorry, from kids to women. So if I think it's small, I just list it as all kids. Like, is there a faster way to figure that out somehow?
Sleeve length, women's sleeves in jackets are going to run about 24 inches, maybe 25 at the
Okay.
most. If it's got the thumb holes, it'll go a little bit longer. In men's, it's going to go like 25, 26. In kids, it's going to run around 22, 23. So shoulder to the bottom. Tech, did you have something to say? Your hand is up.
I had a question that Jeff reminded me of. What collar type do you put for a hoodie?
I either put high collar or I leave it blank. I never know what to put on that.
No, there's no good solution. Sometimes I even put crew neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I was just wondering if you had a better
Like
idea.
if it's got that like extra in there, the extra panel, then
Yeah.
I might say that it's a high neck. But if it doesn't have anything, if it's a V-neck hoodie, that's easy.
Right,
You can just
right.
put V-neck.
Yeah.
But
All
if
right.
it's
I was
just
just
like a
wondering.
regular hoodie, I don't know what to put.
Me either.
So
I was wondering if you had a better idea.
No, I just do the best I can.
Same.
Or leave it blank. If in doubt, leave it blank. Let's see.
I have a question, Michelle.
Yeah, Layla.
So if you have a dress, right? Well, not if you have. I have some dresses that are like I think they are junior sizes because it says large and it's definitely not large. When I put it on, it fits like a medium or small, something like that. So I think it's junior. But then I feel like they will sell more if they're in women, in the women category, right? Not junior. Will you list a junior large as a women small or just leave it in the junior?
No, I leave it. So juniors are gonna be slimmer because they're cut differently. They're slimmer through the bust and the hip.
Okay.
They're still a large though. So if it's like a junior's brand, I'll list it and I'll say, let's say it's like Candies is or So Sweet, I think are both juniors brands. So like, let's say So Sweet, women's dress, juniors large, floral, blah, 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 blah in the title. And then I'll mark it as a juniors in the item specifics and then put the regular large, And then in the listing description, I have a line that says juniors sizing runs smaller through the bust and the hip. So please check the measurements.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Michelle, I
go
think
back
we
and
should
fix this.
transition to jewelry call.
No, not for another hour.
Okay, my bad.
No problem.
Oh, is that, sorry to interrupt. That's Thomas? The dog
Where?
behind you?
Yeah.
I just never see him usually.
Oh yeah. Now that I've got the big computer, the giant computer, you can see him sitting in the window waiting for the mail.
Got it.
He just sits there. He'll sit there for hours. He knows that the mail's coming soon enough. And then he'll get to bark.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
every
mail,
time he starts barking, I'm like, Michelle's mail is there.
He's so weird.
speaking of mail, my carrier and I finally like got everything figured out. I know when he's coming roughly. He decided that because my packages are so large, he wants to do me last every day.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
So you
because he doesn't.
synchronized?
Yeah, I missed him yesterday, unfortunately, which tells me that I can't do anything during the morning on Tuesdays. Like I just got because I have the call on Tuesdays. Like it's just very, very difficult to catch him because on Monday he picked up my packages at like 6 p.m. But on Tuesday he showed up at around like 4 or something like that. And I
Right.
wasn't
Mondays are
covering.
their busiest day, so it's always going to be late
Yeah.
because they're
So
picking up crazy packages from every single person that has packages. So they're
exactly.
always going to run a couple hours late at least on a Monday, especially if you're last on the route.
He told me just to have everything out there and ready by 4. And I was like, okay, that's good. My goal is just to have it out there by 1. So by the time your call starts by the time 1 on every day, basically, I want to have my packages out there ready to roll. He's also one of those people because he's like super overstocked with overtime. Like he has way too much overtime, and they don't want him at any individual place for like longer than a couple of minutes. And I didn't know that either. That was a really interesting wrinkle that he explained to me. So I'm learning a lot more about how their system works and how I can like be of best service to the guy. But I haven't even had the moment to do the thing that Tech does where he gives them the water and stuff like that. Cause it's like I never know that he's here. He just kind of like shows up and takes all the packages and he's gone. And like,
If
I get
you,
it. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say you can ask him to leave you bags so he can bag it up, but you want him to scan everything too. So are you using scan sheets or you making him scan
I've
everything?
been using a scan sheet just because, like I said, his people don't want him at a single place for like longer than a couple of minutes. And as a result, I don't know. It's already pressed on time. Our relationship is new, so I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for him. And it seems like they're scanning them once they get to the actual post office. They might stop doing that in the middle of Q4. So, and I think I'll kind of have to deal with that once I get there. But I just don't quite see the window yet for me to be like, hey, can we actually take a moment and you scan each of these individual ones, even if I help you? Because it seems like he doesn't want to interact with me. Like if he could, he would love it to just scan a sheet, take all the stuff, put it in his car, drive off, and be done in like 2 minutes. So
yeah,
I'm still figuring it out.
Chatting is hard if they're not chatty type people.
Yeah, so. And it's not that he's pretty cool and he's talked to me and stuff. It's just like it seems like because my paper says knock on the door so I can help you, and he's like, I'm good. I don't need your help. It's okay. I'm just gonna. You will be surprised when it shows up. So
yeah.
I mean,
and as it gets closer to, as you get more and more packages out there, he may appreciate your help later on. So hopefully you'll have so many that he'll be like, I would love your help because this is sucking now.
By himself in probably like a minute and a half. It was absolutely crazy. Like I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I just know that like I went out there to see if the packages were still there. They were. I went out there again. They were all gone, and I had an email on my phone saying he picked them up. And I was just like, okay.
Well, and maybe if you're using a scan sheet, you might just ask him for some mail bags and have him drop off mail bags, and then you have everything bagged up, and he can Santa Claus it to his truck.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool too. So hopefully I can catch him one of these days and see exactly how he's doing the process, and then I can just figure out how I can make it even easier for him.
Yeah. I have a couple of mail bags just in case I have a ton. And then I've got these USPS boxes that I use on the daily, and they'll just drop off like a huge stack of them every once in a while. Let me go back to the chat really quick. Let's see. Beth said, if a tag says, for example, Charter Club woman, do you put in title Charter Club women's sweater? I just leave the woman out. So I'll say Charter Club sweater, women's sweater. And then I leave the woman out, and then I'll put, because Charter Club women means that it's a plus size. So then I'll say plus 1X or whatever size it is. Cindy says, oh, I had asked about them changing zippers and buttons. Now you can't tell necessarily if something's a men's or women's based on how it closes. I understand 1 through 18 and 32, etc. in the waist and seam, but I got 2 suits from the men's sections. I swear they're women's. You can check the, okay, so this is about suits and pants. Obviously the sizing, if it's like the single digit 1 through 19 or so, or 1 through 20, 24, somewhere in there. If it depends, Cindy, on how it's sized. If it's sized like men's suits will be sized like 40, 42. They base men's suit sizes on the chest sizes. So like 40, 42, 44, 46, generally speaking, whereas women's will be straight sizes. So it just depends on how they're sized. Let's see. Ashley's asking when the jewelry call is. It's in 1 hour at 1 p.m. Pacific. Da, da, da. When do you need to print out a scan sheet, and can somebody please tell me how? There is some controversy about scan sheets, so I don't know. I do a scan sheet from Pirate Ship. I think it's easier that way. Tech does not do a scan sheet because he wants his postal person to scan everything, which is safer. So I'm not going to tell you a less safe way, because it's a calculated risk to just use a scan sheet, because that tells the post office or tells eBay that it's accepted. But it doesn't say that it says that you've printed off a label and that you've got it, like it's in the system, but it stops the clock as long as it gets scanned along the route afterwards and gets there on time. So I don't want to get into that controversy. Yeah, like it's a shady section. So, all right, Vic, did you have a question?
Hey, do you ever use fabric softeners on the sweaters or your clothes?
Unscented, yes.
Always, or just when you think that it needs fabric softener, or what? How do you use it?
I use fabric softener in my wrinkle release, and I use fabric softener when I wash anything. But I use unscented. Everything that I do for eBay is unscented, just because those smells, those perfume smells, break down.
Yeah, I'm using unscented.
Yeah, because like the perfume, after a while, especially if you store in bags like I do, will break down in various weather. Like if it gets hot, the oils start breaking down and the perfume smells, and it starts smelling like vomit and less like perfume or floral.
Ew.
So don't put a strong scent.
Yeah.
And then put it in a bag, and then put it in any kind of heat, like over a heat vent, or like in a garage where it's going to get hot, or else your customer is going to open that bag and it's going to smell like vomit.
Plus the plastic will have its own smell.
Right.
That breaks down.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way. Don't do it.
Also, I heard somebody uses a steam machine to, sometimes people use steam machines. Do you use that? And what kind of steam machine, and what would I look for? I've never used one.
I got one on Amazon. Some people use the ones that are like that are like a full stand one, where it's got a little handle, and then you pour the water in the base of it, and then it's got like a hose and a handle. Those are a little more expensive. I got mine off of Costco. I think it's a Conair one. It's just a handheld one. So you pour the water in the little reservoir in there, and then you just steam the clothes that way. You just plug it in and steam it. They're very handy.
Would that, that's not something you should do on dry clean clothes, right?
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh, we can?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's just steam. It's not like it's not getting it wet. It's just
Gotcha.
steaming it. So it's a nice way to get, like, if you're concerned about people's cooties, then you can steam is like hot enough to like kill germs and things like that.
Okay.
So.
I was thinking I got a nice dress and stuff like that. I'm not sure how to clean them, different things like that.
It doesn't clean it. It just gets the wrinkles out.
Okay.
So a
Thanks.
steamer doesn't
And-
clean. It
And
just
kills the bugs.
well, yeah, because it's hot. It's hot steam, so it's going to kill anything that's maybe distasteful in there. But it doesn't get. The only thing it does is really get rid of wrinkles. So
Okay,
it
great, thanks.
it make you feel better about like sending it out to somebody.
Gotcha.
So are you using like Drept or something?
Oh, for fabric softener? Yeah, I use the
No,
baby.
for your detergent. Like, are you using
Yeah.
like baby detergent?
I use an unscented, detergent. They have like the free and clear ones.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch more on the shelf than they used to.
Yeah, there used to only be like one or two baby brands that were unscented, but now that people are having more and more allergies or sensitivities to strong perfumes, there's a bunch of them on the market. Like
Oh, so-
I think all has a free and clear one. There's a whole bunch of free and clear detergents out there.
So you can use stuff like Tide and Gain as long as you're in as long as it's the free and clear version, it's not going to cause any allergy situations.
Yeah, you should be fine because it's unscented. That's what I'm looking for, is an unscented version of it. I just don't want strong perfumes. So like some people say, I've heard some people say that they take a little piece of fabric softener and put it in their bags to make it smell good. And that's super dangerous. That's not a good idea to do. One, there's a lot of people out there that are very sensitive to smell. And you start sticking fabric softener, anything in the bag, you're going to have a certain percentage of people that are not happy with you.
You're going to have a massive percentage of people that are not happy with you. Because like
I wouldn't be happy with you.
even if you're not sensitive to smells, what ends up happening is like that scent, because in the box, and especially if it's in a bag too, is gonna like stick to the fabric of the item, and it's gonna smell like that, and that's not pleasant generally.
Another
all
thing
got
that's really,
scented.
I'm sorry,
ahead.
another thing that's really bad is those trash bags that the thrift stores will use that are scented bags. So they mask.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't get them out of the bag, as soon as you get home, it sticks to those damn clothes.
Any kind of perfume is going to be oil based. So once those smells start breaking down, it's nasty.
My mom
I
bought me
use
some
scented,
milk.
I use scented detergent because sometimes Goodwill clothes smell so bad to me. But now you guys are making me want to change my detergent.
I would go to an unscented just out of experience. So some people are super sensitive to it. So, and then you can also tell that way if there's a light scent. I always dispose it if I wash something and there's still a little bit of perfume smell, I'll disclose it like a flaw. I'll put in there that there's a light perfume smell, but it's non-offensive. Is the word I use, but like if it's offensive, then I just won't sell it. Sometimes you get like a perfumey smell that's just gross.
I asked my mom to buy me some garbage bags because I was in a thrift store, and I like to like take everything out in big garbage bags because it's easier that way instead of getting like 8 of their bags.
Mhm.
and she bought mint scented garbage bags. And when I tell you, they smell so awful. Like it's the worst thing. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to use these for my house then. Like, I thank you so much, Mom, but like, I
Thanks,
can't.
Mom.
I can't do anything. I can't put my shoes in this. Like, my wife walked downstairs because I had them like at the end of the stairs, and she was like, "What is that smell?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's the mint scented bags." And she's like, "No, dude, nah."
I use when I was going to Goodwill and stuff, I used the IKEA bags, the open top IKEA bags. And I would take in like 15 or 20 of them into the Goodwill with me. They loved me. Cause I would be like, I'd go up to the counter, I'd say, okay, so you do the scanning and I'll do the packing. And so like we would whip through the line that way. And so I would do all the, because I didn't care if things were folded because I was going to take it home and wash it anyway. And with shoes, those IKEA bags are awesome because
Yeah,
they're really
Renzi-
heavy duty.
Yeah, totally.
And you can get the ones with the zippers. You can get them off of IKEA too. So like they're cheaper. You can get them on Amazon, get 20 at a time, or you can get them on IKEA. The shipping is a little bit higher on IKEA, but I think it ends up evening out. So you just kind of have to price it and figure out.
I
which
never
works
thought
out
to use
better.
garbage bags at Goodwill, and now I'm going to use that because that's freaking genius.
They love it. They're like, oh, thank God, because they hate
It makes
bagging
sense.
that stuff. Like, especially if you have a lot. If you can
Right,
help
like I
them
woke
out
up with like
that
6 bags.
Yeah, well, and who wants to like have 50 bags of like little tiny
It's like
stupid Goodwill
these
bags?
right here, because these are the bags they give me. Like, these bags
Right,
take
me
up so
too.
much space in my car. You know, even their bigger ones, they take a ton of space. So, and then it's like you got to figure out how you're gonna dispose of them, all that good stuff. But like when I use my garbage bags, I can just like I can put a massive amount of shoes in there. Also, no one can see what I'm buying, which is another W.
Right.
So like, because I do run into a couple of issues with that, but I like have those garbage bags. I can just put 3 bags in my car compared to like 9 or 10 of those, and it's way faster, way easier. No, they don't need to pull any bags. All they got to do is just, I'm gonna pull up with the cart. I'm gonna tell them what numbers for each item. Like, I got 9 adult shoes, 17 kids, so on and so forth. And then we do all that, and we just throw them in the bags together, and then pack them up, take them out, and that's it. It's really,
I'm
really.
so doing that. That is genius.
It's just that make sure that you don't fill the bag up to full capacity. Like, it's really
Right.
difficult. I wouldn't even go above like 75% because first they're gonna get super heavy and you don't want them to tear on you. So make sure you get the heavy duty bags. You don't have to get hefty or nothing like that, but get something that's a heavier duty so that you don't like be carrying the bag and it tears open and now you got to deal with that.
Gotcha.
Around here at my Goodwill before COVID, they eliminated bags altogether. Budget cuts, no bags. So just ring out, carry it to the car, put it into a tote, go home. No bag, no smelling, no issue.
Yeah, I was using, for about 2 years, I was using the IKEA bags and I loved them. They fit like, they would fit probably the equivalent of like 3 of the big Goodwill bags. So, and for shoes too, like you could just stack them in there like cordwood.
Yeah, Renzi like has like 12 or 13 shoes per bag or something like that. They put a lot in there.
Well, and the handles are really nice too. So it's got double handles and you can tie the top of them or you can get the zipper kind.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. If you do use like garbage bags, do not tie the drawstrings together. Like, rather than doing that, grab the actual bag. I wish I had one. Yeah, I got one.
Yes, that is a great tip, Isaiah.
You see these drawstrings right here? I don't know if you guys can see them, but these little red drawstrings, don't tie them together because it's going to be really, really hard to open this up without tearing the bag. And you don't want to you could reuse this bag if you wanted to, but if you tie those drawstrings together, you're done reusing it. So instead, take the bag and do it like this and make your knot that way.
The actual bag. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tie the drawstring. And if you can't do that because you have it too full, use the drawstring, but tie the drawstring to the bag itself in that same method. But do not make those little bows because it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, trying to open it up again afterwards is a pain in the neck. Oh, I forgot to go over knit styles on sweaters. We probably should talk about that. I'll just do it verbally because we don't need to share on that. The knit styles on sweaters, there's cable knit, which I talked about last week a little bit. Cable knit is where there's like, it's a knit sweater with a knit over the top of it. So it looks like a cable. It can be in a crisscross shape or just straight up and down. Chunky knit is anything that like has a big thread to it, where you can actually see the threads. I'll use chunky knit for like anything that is like got an oversized thread to it, so you can actually see the yarn. Open knit I do for anything that is sheer-ish, like there's loose knit, where it's, you know, where you can see through it. You would probably want to wear something underneath it, or all your bits are going to show.
Can you show an example of that one, Michelle?
Yep. Let me grab something. See if I can find something in my store.
Most of the time, those are used for cardigans. At least that's what I noticed. The open knit.
Well, that would be open front, not open knit though.
No, I'm not talking about the style of the garment itself, like the knit. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of sweaters that are open knit, but I've seen a lot of cardigans, maybe open front cardigans. It can be button up cardigans, but I've mostly seen cardigans with the open knit style. That's what I
see what you're
meant.
saying. Here's an open knit. Everybody see that?
Yes,
so
we
you
do.
can see through the knit, so it's open. All your little bits would show if you wore it just like that. That's what I consider an open knit. And then
So far you did cable knit, you did open knit. You
so
did
cable knit, chunky knit, open knit, tight knit is what I use generally.
Okay.
Tight knit is your regular sweater. It covers up all your bits. It's like your cashmere sweaters are going to be a tight knit. Anything that's like just a normal sweater. And then waffle knit is like that waffle weave thermal knit, like for thermal underwear type stuff. Let's see if I have anything in there. So this would be your thermal knit. It's got that waffle shape. Okay, makes sense. And let's see if I have any cable knit in there. And this is a cable knit. So it's a knit fabric, and then it's got knitting over the top of it into a design. So that's a cable knit. Somebody asked me to go over those, so I wanted to make sure that we hit those. Those are all the different 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, probably I'm going to use a tight knit. So tight knit, open knit. I don't get a lot of chunky knit stuff, or waffle knit. cable knit sweaters are pretty common. That's
You
the
said-
typical fisherman sweater. That's a really good keyword, by the way. This would be considered a fisherman sweater.
Fisherman sweater, you said? What?
Yep.
I don't know, maybe I missed it. What makes it a fisherman sweater?
It's just the style. That's what they call
Okay.
it.
Okay, thank you.
I guess because fishermen on the colder seas wear them.
Yeah,
Right?
I think it originated back on the East Coast in Maine and Rhode Island and those areas on the coast, where it gets really, really cold, but still they would wear it out on the boats because it would be those cable nets hold off the wind a little bit.
And you said it sort of has like a double layer, like a layer at the bottom and then the pattern at the top.
Yeah, kind of like it's knit in there, but it's layered, so you've got some kind of pattern in there. If you look up anything, just Google cable knit and you'll see all different kinds of designs on it. But it's anytime that you've got that like a double knit pattern that looks like that old-fashioned fisherman sweater type thing. Marcia's asking if I've experienced a decrease in the price buyers are willing to pay for cashmere sweaters since last year. Comps are lower, I'm getting less. I don't think there's a race to the bottom. But it was a weird year last year and it's a weird year this year. So I wouldn't freak out about anything that happened in the last 2 years. I think styles are changing and people's ideas of what styles are changing. So just keep your ear to the ground and figure out what people are going to wear. I think people are going more towards comfort clothes and less towards worky type clothes. People were worried a little bit about money last year, so they wanted lower prices. So I don't worry about anything that prices have been weird for the last. I couldn't sell any sweaters last year or suits or anything that was for work. I couldn't sell. Let's see. I think that's the only question.
What
Okay.
about church clothing? Does that sell well for you?
Church
When
clothing?
you do get it? Yeah, like clothing that's like those kind of suits.
Those are good keywords, modest and church, like church dresses, modest dresses. There's definitely a market for it still among the religious communities. So yeah. Your wife is still doing church clothes, right? And hats?
Kinda. Technically, that's where her store is focused on, but she hasn't really been listening that much lately. She's been doing a lot of other things. So as a result, she hasn't been putting too much focus into eBay.
Yeah. She could definitely do good business in that, though. Now that people are going back to church and church hats are awesome. I think that's such a cool niche.
She had the same lady buy like 12 hats from her. And it wasn't like she bought 12 hats at one time. It was like she bought 3, then came back and bought like 2, and then came back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
People that want their hats, they want their hats. I think that's a really cool niche. All right, we got any other questions? If not, I'm gonna cut it short so we have a chance to breathe before the jewelry call starts. Because I should probably join the jewelry call just because I have a question about a brooch that I got. It's funny because I ended up with a brooch on top of it was attached to a blazer, and the blazer's not worth anything, but the comps on the brooch are like $100. So
Sweet.
I know. Who knew? So I looked up I was able to find the designer and the similar style, and it was like, oh, okay, well, cool.
Not
We'd
to
love
one
see
up
it,
you.
Michelle.
Chris today sent me a picture of a 10-ounce silver bar he found in a pocket of a pair of pants. That's $350.
Are you kidding?
I swear, he found a 10-ounce bar of silver.
This is
That's
the luckiest
ridiculous.
guy in this whole group.
He's selling, so he's selling bars. Here's what I found. Can you see it? Pull it up in speaker view.
See it? That's pretty. Say something else, Michelle.
Right here. So
That is
it's,
pretty. What's the
I-
name on it?
I'm trying to remember what I put. Colmar and Jordan.
Huh. I don't know.
KOLLMAR and then JOURDAN. It's like the mark on the back of it is just a K and a J with an arrow through it. So I was able to find the maker's mark. But the floral ones, apparently these are from the 70s and they're like hand painted, these little flowers. This one's like a rose.
Looks like
Yeah.
it might be gold though.
It doesn't say anything. It's the only marking on there is just that style name. I didn't see any other markings on there.
Well, come to the jewelry card. Let's look at it closer.
I know. All right. I'm gonna go, guys. We got everything. Any other questions? Last chance. All right, we're ending it. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. If you have any questions during the week,